Welcome back, filmmakers. Today we are breaking down a corporate video shoot, probably one of the biggest ones I've been on and DP'd so far. This one was in San Diego on a psych wall. The budget for this project was, I'm ballparking, maybe 30 to 65K. It was an 11-person crew, 1-person talent, and 5 people from the agency. This was a medical corporate shoot for a client of theirs that I was in charge of DPing. So for the pre-production side, I was hopping on probably 2 or 3 Zoom calls before this project even took off. Connor, the producer, shared some reference images to what the client was looking for. I was then tasked with hiring local crew and any sort of additional help that I may need to facilitate this job. They wanted it to kind of feel that we were in a apartment loft, something bright, something airy, with a very clean look. So also another step that I like to take in pre-production is organizing all the information that I had from the client and be able to communicate that with my crew. I made a Milanote and threw in all the reference images, discussed some ways that we could execute these images with my gaffer. So he did a great amount of legwork in Cinetracer and kind of knew where he was going to place the lights with what we had available. And also I wanted to share this information with my cam op, that way he was on the same page. We had 2 days that we were contracted for. One was a pre-light day and one was the actual shoot day. So on our pre-light day, we got all of our equipment in. We were tasked with setting up our cameras, our lighting, and do a complete run of show to just kind of make sure everything is dialed in. So that way when we come in to shoot for the next day, everything is set and ready to go. We did run into some issues with set deck. The clients asked for a big wall behind our main subject, which was supposed to look like a white brick wall. And unfortunately, it wasn't really long enough to make sure that we could push it back behind our talent to get some more separation. The wall that they built was only about 6 feet wide. So unfortunately, we had to bring that back wall closer to our talent, which kind of removed some of that depth and separation that we wanted to have. We didn't have to sacrifice too much. We just had to kind of pivot on how we could best light the wall and how we could also make sure that our talent still looked dynamic without getting a whole bunch of spill onto that back wall. We also had to dial in our B camera angle, which set deck had to paint more of the white cyc than they initially intended. The client also requested on shoot day to have 2 wireless feeds coming from both cameras to 2 directors' monitors. We used the Hollyland Pyro S to send out a signal directly from each camera. They actually work fantastically for any sort of monitoring on set. There is a tiny bit of a lag, which I did reach out to Hollyland to kind of get some clarification on. It seemed like the sounds in the mouth were a little bit more laggy than usual, but when I viewed it through the Hollyland app, it was actually almost closer than viewing it through the transmission signal. Hollyland did tell me that within certain scenarios, maybe a lot of Wi-Fi signal within the studio we were working with can cause a tiny bit of delay, but the Hollyland Pyro S is my go-to wireless video transmission system. Whether it be an interview or a client needs to monitor what you're shooting for B-roll, the Hollyland Pyro series is very easy to use, and I couldn't recommend it more for a budget-friendly wireless video transmission system. A quick rundown of how we lit this scene. We used a Aperture 600D through a 6x6 of full grid. We blocked a part of that off that was spilling onto the back wall and just added I forget the actual name of it, but a ping of light onto the wall, so that way it kind of mimicked that ambient loft apartment type feel. We had a Godox 600D and an Aperture 600D flooding the back wall where that blue was painted. This was definitely, like I said, one of the bigger shoots that I have DP'd on, and was responsible for doing a bunch of pre-production calls with the client, booking additional crew that we might need. And it feels really good to be able to bring on close friends and really strong, talented people onto the crew who helped me execute this vision perfectly. I can't thank them enough. And again, filmmaking is a team effort. I know we're all trying to move out of that one-man band mentality, and having a crew and having talented members of your team is vitally important. And remember, the more communicative and the more collaborative you can be, the better the end result.